you're watching Rock and Rollin'.
I'm Dan.
Hey, you're watching Rock and Rollin'. I'm Dan.
I'm Jenna.
You're Jenna? Hey, you're watching Rock and Rollin'. I'm Dan.
I'm Jenna.
And we're the Thompsons. And we have a story to tell you.
Good job.
So, last time we left you guys, we were doing some free BLM camping in Quartzsite and Tonopah, and we caught up with the Loftus family, and that was super fun. But really, we were on our way down to Tucson, Arizona, to Catalina State Park.
But we forgot to mention in the last video, our water heater decided to quit in Tonopah. And so we ended up not getting showers in Tonopah. And we wanted to stay somewhere where we could fix it, have Dan look at it, get some parts we needed for it, and fix it so we could get showers.
Yep. But we did have one night that we needed to kill before we could get into the state park. And I have a buddy from Prescott who actually leads worship now at a church down in Tucson, University City Church, right? Or something like that.
It's
anyway,
the big college church, so.
So he heard that we were in town, and he invited me to come play bass for the worship team, which is awesome. And I said, well, I can if you let us boondock in your parking lot the night before, because we don't have a place to stay. And so they obliged. They let us stay in the church parking lot overnight.
Super nice, yeah.
And
it worked out really, really well until we were packing up to leave.
That's right.
And right in their parking lot, it's in the middle of the city, right in their parking lot, Buddy Man found a syringe.
A used syringe.
And decided to play doctor with his sister and poke her in the arm. So,
yeah.
Right as we're packing up.
So Jen and I are busy packing up and hitching the trailer and everything, getting ready to leave to go to Catalina State Park. And there, we just told them to play around the RV where we keep an eye on them. But that all happened really fast.
Really fast.
But as soon as I realized what happened, I called Jenna over and we were like, okay, we probably need to go to the ER.
So we ended up making a trip. Oh, mosquito. Sorry. We ended up making a trip.
So when I do it fast.
It was actually pretty close to Catalina State Park.
Yeah, we actually dropped off our trailer real quick.
Yeah.
We didn't level or push out the slides or anything, I don't think. I think we just dropped it off and went straight to the ER.
Spent the whole night in the ER, as ER visits usually go. This is pre-COVID, mind you. But it was still a long wait. We got her in, got her looked at, got blood work done, and everything was okay.
We didn't film any of this, of course, because we were just freaking out and we didn't think to get the camera out.
Who gets a camera out in the middle of an emergency?
They did think, based on what it looked like, that it was just an insulin needle, and so it wasn't like a heroin needle.
Yes.
So hopefully.
And who knows, in the middle of a parking lot, so.
Exactly, in the middle of downtown Tucson, where there is a homeless community abundant.
So luckily that was all okay, and we could go back and enjoy the rest of our stay uninterrupted. We did waste that first evening, but you know.
But we did enjoy the rest of our stay. We did some really cool stuff. Firstly, Catalina State Park is beautiful.
So pretty.
And there's tons of stuff to do in Tucson, and so I think we actually didn't do Catalina State Park justice. We didn't have
enough time.
Yeah, we didn't do any of the hikes or anything, but.
Right, and the only reason we were sticking around Phoenix was because we were gonna visit family for Thanksgiving in Phoenix.
Yep.
So that's why we were kind of staying around the area, and we thought, well, let's just check out what there is. We'd heard from another full-time RV couple that we met in Nevada that this park in particular was beautiful. It backs up right to Saguaro National Park, which we didn't even get to go to.
Yes. And instead of talking all the things that we didn't do, why don't we talk about the things we did do?
I just want to mention it was a really well-maintained, really clean, really nice campsite.
Yeah, great facilities. It was $30 a night for half hookups,
but pretty and worth it at that time of year. We ended up checking out what Dan really wanted to do was the
Pima Air and Space Museum. Yes, I know. And
super fun.
We definitely made a homeschool educational day out of it. Yeah. But let's be honest, I think I enjoyed it more than anyone else. I just love airplanes, and they have some of my favorite airplanes there. It's so cool. I mean, I don't know if it's the largest. It's probably not the largest air and space museum, but they have everything.
Oh,
there.
it's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, they have an SR-71 Blackbird. They have, I could list all my favorite airplanes, but if you think of a cool airplane from history, they have it.
We may not be into the same airplanes, but we are both into airplanes.
That's true.
So I was just as excited to check out commercial airplanes. I used to be a flight attendant, so that was really cool. They had a big old 747. They had an exhibit for the
B-17 bombers.
Yes.
Which is awesome.
Super cool. Really, really neat to see all that. And I think Buddy Man enjoyed it as well, just because he's into all that stuff. But did he want to read through every single thing about them? No, but this guy does. So as we were cruising around, he's back like miles behind me reading stuff. And I'm like, let's just keep these kids entertained. But it was super fun. And I think for the whole family, it was a great experience. We would totally do that again.
Yeah. And I'm not going to say that I've already been there before. Now, we know we left you sort of in suspense. Did Dan ever fix the hot water?
No.
Yeah, no, actually one of the cool things about being in the Catalina State Park was that there was an Amazon hub locker nearby. So I was able to Amazon Prime some parts. I got, I think, new thermostats and a new circuit board and some fuses and stuff. And I basically ended up, I think, rebuilding the entire water heater.
Are you working on this thing again?
So, replace the thermostat, replace the eco, whatever that is, replace the fuse. This thing's still blowing up. Just replace the circuit board now. So, if this works, we will have a brand new water heater with an old water tank. But we did get it cranking again, which is awesome. So, did get the hot water in. And so then we were ready to hitch up and go somewhere else. Yeah. But I do want to mention something that we've been dealing with our shakedown up until now that we kind of forget to mention is that in every spot that we've landed, we've had difficulty with our auto leveling out our rig. We had lots of failures, and even in Catalina State Park, we had a perfectly level site.
And it couldn't get it level. And it really started back from the beginning. It never really auto-leveled itself well, even on perfectly level ground, like Dan said. We ended up, after that, heading to Casa Grande.
Yeah, we needed a place where I could get some work done because we've been traveling a lot to all these different like boondocking places and stuff, and I got really behind on content for my other channel. So I needed a place where I could like breathe and get some work done and just relax on and not have to worry being on full hookups and stuff.
Yeah, and we wanted to find something that wasn't super high cost, so we ended up joining Escapees to stay at an Escapees park in Casa Grande.
Yep, which is what people from Casa Grande call it.
Yeah.
It's really Casa Grande, but Arizona is just one of those states that we like to mispronounce.
Right, before you think I'm like some hick that doesn't know how to pronounce these.
We know it's supposed to be Casa Grande, but everybody calls it Casa Grande. I think except for the Hispanic community, they pronounce it correctly.
Correct. I think it was something like $120 for the week, which was...
Yeah.
We just were like, we don't care where it is, that's great, let's just stay there for a week. We're killing time.
Yeah, and how long did we stay there?
Oh, an afternoon.
And it's not because the park wasn't nice. I mean, it's kind of more like a well-groomed HOA community, you know.
It wasn't for kids. We were a little nervous about having the kids stay there. It was definitely more of a retired community that wanted things quiet and nicely kept. I was a little nervous about staying there.
But that wasn't the reason. We didn't leave because it wasn't kid-friendly. They assured us that it was okay for our kids to be there. Why didn't we stay?
So we pulled into this awesome RV park. Just kidding. So we pulled into this RV park in Casa Grande. Don't say Casa Grande, because that's not what they say here. Say Casa Grande. And our stupid auto level failed us again. So tell me what you did there with the jacks.
Our front landing gears were not raising our trailer more than 2 inches. And clearly, it's supposed to be able to do that. So we were trying to figure it out. So we actually hitched it back up to the truck and took out the big wood blocks underneath it. And we moved the feet all the way up to the top pin just to see how far they would extract without any load on it, and they went all the way to the ground. So clearly more than 2 inches right here. So we don't know why it's binding up under load, but I extended them all the way out as far as I could, and then I cleaned them and lubricated them, and we're just waiting on the lubricant to dry because it's a silicone-based dry lubricant. And once it's dry, then we're going to send the legs back up, run them up and down a few times, and then maybe we'll try doing it under load to get our trailer level. But if that doesn't work, we're going to be pulling out of here and going somewhere else, like a RV service center.
Yes. And we use this stuff.
Link in the description. Just kidding.
So, yeah. So we're going to check out how dirty this thing is, too, by the way.
Yeah. It's good old thunder.
Lovely diesel.
Blowing that black thunder cloud.
And we got it hitched up. Doing what we know how to do. Kids are content to play on their iPads. All right, we're gonna try it again. Feeling like noobs.
Well, this is cool. It won't go up or down.
Uh-oh. Why? Why?
Let's go see what's going on the inside.
Maybe there's hope. We'll see. Okay, so new plan. We are pulling out of the park we just pulled into because our slides are coming down, hitting the ground, and then skipping our front jacks. So we are going to need to take this thing in to have it looked at. We don't really know where yet, Camping World, somewhere like that, and gonna have it looked at. Don't know where we're gonna stay tonight. Don't know if we're gonna have our house tonight. So that's cool. Always something. But we pray over our trips every single time, and we welcome the distraction. I guess I won't say welcome. We'll accept the distraction and see what God has for us in it. So stay tuned.
So we actually, remember, I have a buddy who's a general manager at Camping World. So we called up my buddy Brian, who helped us out before,
yes,
and told him what was going on. And we're like, I think we're going to need to get this thing serviced because I don't know what's going on. I need to get it looked at. And he's like, okay, let me call around a few places in the Phoenix area and see if I can find a place that'll get you in.
Yeah.
And so he called a few places and pulled a few favors and tried to get us into the Camping World in Avondale, I believe.
Yeah.
And so we were headed there, but we didn't make it there before they closed. So we're like, shoot. And even still, like we didn't really want to have to stay in a hotel. So we wanted to figure out kind of how to fix this ourselves, but we didn't really have a place that we could stay with our truck hitched to our trailer.
We do have, I do have family in Phoenix area, so we called them up, my stepbrother and his wife, to see if we could park anywhere around their house and either possibly stay with them, or that's kind of what we decided. Yeah. We would just park it somewhere and stay in their house for that evening.
Yeah, because the problem with our rig, and one of the reasons why we started having discussion of a different one, is because nothing was accessible with the slides in,
right,
and you can't push the slides out while it's still attached to the truck because you need to get level first, and we couldn't get level while it was attached to the truck.
And we couldn't unhitch.
Yeah.
So we were stuck with a trailer on the
so
truck.
we needed to find a place that we could stay that had a 65-foot parking area for our truck and trailer.
And they said, sure, we don't have an HOA, park it in front of our house. So that's what we did.
They were totally cool with it, and I gotta say, they were great hosts.
Oh,
they took such good care of us. They told us we could stay as long as we needed to get our trailer fixed and stuff. And so I know that we ended up spending the day working and homeschooling while I called around to see where I could get replacement jacks.
Yep. And this guy is a DIYer, so he's basically trying to figure out how he can do it himself without us having to pay for service. So. And
there's a surprising lack of information on YouTube of how to replace the front jacks on a Lippert ground control 3.0 system. So.
And I'm sure somebody's going to correct you on how to say that.
Probably Lippert. I think it's Lippert. Lippert. I've heard it pronounced both ways.
Right.
Anyway, I researched the heck out of it. Found where I could order replacement parts on eTrailer with 3 to 5 day ground shipping. So we were trying to decide, are we going to put out your stepbrother and his wife for that long?
Which they were totally fine with.
They were totally fine with. We just didn't want to be that burden on them.
Just to mention, my stepsister, who's also traveling around, is staying in their driveway.
That's right. So
she's in the driveway. Yeah. We're in their front, right in front of their house on the street.
Yeah, it's starting to look like an RV community.
Oh, bless their hearts. It was great.
But what do we decide to do?
We ended up deciding that we'll have it shipped to my grandma's house in Hemet, California.
Back to California!
And we head back to California because grandma's house is always comfortable and there's bedrooms to spare. So we had space to stay while we could park the truck and RV and borrow cars and things that we needed to do.
Exactly. So that was a huge part of it, is we couldn't drive the truck hitched to the trailer around downtown Phoenix for every errand that we needed to, buy groceries or whatever. We just couldn't do it. It's too big for that. So we needed an extra vehicle that we could borrow until we got it fixed. We also needed a place where we could park it and fix it. And so Grandma called around and found...
Grandma got the hookups.
Yeah, she found a friend with a ranch that had plenty of property that we could, and he was willing to let us park it
and fix our RV
and do the repairs on it. Yeah. So shout out to DJ there in Hemet. Appreciate you for letting us park our rig there for
super nice.
A week, I think, before we got the parts and fixed it. So anyway, because there's a surprising lack of information of how to do that repair, I actually decided to make a how-to YouTube video just to support the full-time RV community, because I can't be the only person trying to figure this out. So if you are interested in seeing that video, we're going to have it uploaded next week, and then you'll see how we fixed the leveling issue once and for all. Once we made that repair, we
never had a problem.
Never had an issue. But if you're not interested in seeing how I fixed the front jacks on our rig, then you can go ahead and skip to the following week, where we are going to tell you about the rest of our stay in California and what we did to break out of the vicious cycle of Southwest. Until next time, remember, life rocks
when your home rolls.